Good morning, everyone. Deborah, are you okay just to give us a quick word of prayer as we open?
Okay, let's invite the presence of the Lord. Spirit of life, thank you for bringing us through another week. Thank you for your mercy and your guidance and your presence that never fail us. Thank you for our facilitator, bless Simone, Ricardo, and all of our partners. Keep on blessing us, keep on guiding us so that your will be done on earth. Continue to bless our gems. Continue to bless the action and everything that they do. May they take away from this session that they need, whatever they need, and may they continue to be extraordinary in everything they do. We ask these mercies in the present name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning. I am Simone Claxton, President and founder of the Sophia Miriam Foundation, a nonprofit organization incorporated in the beautiful Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And it's yet another bright and beautiful and sunny day here in Trinidad and in the Caribbean as a whole, I guess. This is sunny in Dominica. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us today. I thank God, first of all, for health and strength and for not taking any day for granted. Never, ever again. So we'd like to welcome all our partners from all over the world. We have Dr. Joppy in the USA, Dominica, we have St. Lucia, we have South Africa. We have persons from all over the globe. And I just want to thank you for your time and your dedication to this program. We'd like to thank our GEMS for joining in as well, for the dedication of these young ladies and their yearning to improve their life and to develop themselves. And we'd like to thank our sponsors as well, because without them, this program would not be possible. We'd like to thank the National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago, NGC, Unitrust Corporation as well. And we have on board Trinidad Generation Unlimited, TGU. So we have three main sponsors on board at the moment, and we're hoping that the other sponsors come on board as time goes by. So we want to thank our volunteers. We have Malaika in Pakistan, we have Natalie in Paris, we have, who else we have on board today? Nirvana will be coming in shortly. She is in Trinidad. We have quite a few persons on board now with our volunteering team, and I just want to acknowledge them. So I would like to open the floor first to Dr. Joppy. Let's to bring greetings from the US and from her organization.
Good morning.
Greetings.
Sure. Greetings, everyone I hope you can hear me, from the US. We are excited. I'm just going to say our girls from the US are excited to be a part of this program. I have invited some of our board members to join, and our board members, we're representing Project CULTIVATE, which is a nonprofit organization that serves girls and women around the world. And we're just excited to be a part of this great initiative. I believe this is year 3 for us. And I brag about you all the time, Simone, and the other partners. Just incredible organizations that are represented here from around the country, and the work that you all are doing individually, I should say we are doing individually and collectively. I'm super proud and honored to be a part of great women who serve around the world. And I'm just happy to be a part. I know for the girls, for the first time, this is your first time being a part of this wonderful GEMS initiative. You're in for a great treat. Our great leaders come on and share amazing opportunities, give great content and information that can really impact your life if you're open to receive. And I know I continue to be a part of it because I believe in the mission, the vision, and the values of the organization. And actually, with all the partners, I've researched every one of the partners. And I think if we're going to be a part of something, we should know what we're a part of and who we're connected to. And I'm proud to be connected to these beautiful, fine, amazing women and partners. So I welcome you all on behalf of Project Cultivate. I promise you I'll be on screen next week. I promise I'll be on screen next week. I was on last week, but I welcome you all and thank you, Simone, for this opportunity. So welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Joppy. Thank you so much for bringing greetings. We love working with you and your enthusiasm for the program. And I see we have Patience all the way in Uganda. Patience, would you like to bring greetings on behalf of the Program Foundation? Doing wonderful work in Uganda for women.
Hello, good morning. Good morning, everyone. And
Hi, Patience.
wow. Okay. Hi. Greetings from Uganda. I'm glad to be part of this afternoon. I missed the last time. Saturdays are normally not good for me, but at least I've managed to join in this time. And I've actually requested my colleagues also to join so that we can learn more and we also impact on other young children around our country. Thank you and have a nice deliberation.
Thank you so much, Patience, for bringing greetings on behalf of the Program Foundation in Uganda. We're thrilled to have you guys on board with us this year. All right, so we want to open the floor to a couple of the girls who've been with us before. So if they want to say hi. Well, what about Janae? You want to say hi, greetings on behalf of Dominica?
Hello, how are you guys doing? Dominica is all right though. I don't know what else to say, but Dominica is all right.
How was the program beneficial to you?
Excuse me, what did you say?
How was the program been beneficial to you because you've been back a couple of years? So
Oh, it has helped me a lot. I received a lot of information which has helped me improve my business and yeah, just to be a better person than I already was. So I really appreciate this program. And I'm looking forward to doing this program every year that you have it.
thank you so much, Janae. We appreciate it.
And that's going to show you never really stop learning. Me, I'm 53 years of age, and every Saturday I'm excited to be part of this program. I'm always taking away something. So I really appreciate to see Miss Cesar again. Thanks for coming again. Yes, last week was your first time. So we appreciate you coming back.
Okay, guys, so thanks so much. We're going to move on. Just want to acknowledge some special partners. We have the Bankers Association of Trinidad and Tobago, and we have Dixian with us today, and Mr. Sherwin Forte. So Sherwin will be doing our second presentation at around after 11. And now we'd like to acknowledge Miss Anna-Kaye from St. Lucia. She's part of an organization, a company called Orbtronics, and they deal with technology and robotics. And the company was founded by two intelligent young gentlemen, that's Sherwin and Keegan. Okay, so I'd just like to acknowledge them, very ambitious young men. And Anna-Kaye is part of that operation, and she will be doing the presentation for us today. So Anna-Kaye, the floor is all yours. We will be dealing with social media, safety, and AI opportunities.
Just one moment, I must add that Miss Nathaniel has said I find it very informative, and I've taken away from just one session. So I'm excited to learn more.
Perfect, fantastic. Okay.
Okay, hi everybody, good morning. My name is Anna-Kaye Boodho. I am the General Manager of Orbtronics, and today I'll be presenting to you on social media and AI. Okay, so let's just get started. I'm going to share my screen and then we're going to get right into our presentation for today. Okay, there we go. All right, so today we're going to learn a bit about social media and artificial intelligence opportunities. I'm not sure if anybody here already has experience in those areas, but if they do, I would love to hear about it as we go through the presentation. rules for, well, not really rules, but generally when we're presenting, the only requests that I have of you are to be engaged, to pay attention, and if you have any questions at all, feel free to stop me and ask. Okay? So let's start off with our objectives for the session. At the end of the session, you should be able to understand and develop a basic social media content strategy tailored to your interests and goals. You should be able to manage and improve your online reputation using effective strategies and tools. And you should also be able to recognize and leverage AI tools such as ChatGPT, Adobe Firefly, Viscom, and Voice Mode for educational and creative purposes. All right. Just hide this. I'm not sure it's showing on the screen. So I always start my sessions off with a short activity. And what we're going to do this morning is called the emoji decoder. So I have a set of emojis here, and what you're going to do is you're going to write down numbers 1 to 15, and for each of those items, you're going to write down what you think the Disney movie is that's being shown with these emojis. So we're going to take 5 minutes to do that, and then we're going to go through some of the answers. Is 5 minutes too long? Do you all think that we should do less time or more time?
Hi, good morning. I think you should do less time because I already have all the answers.
You already have all the answers. Oh my goodness. Okay. Does anybody else need a few more minutes to wrap up?
I could use 2 more minutes, please.
4 minutes? Okay, no problem. So we'll stop at 10:30 and we'll go through some of the answers. Okay, are we done now? Ready to go?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so we will be taking volunteers for the different answers. All you have to do is unmute your mic, say what number you're giving us the answer for, and let us know what you think the movie is. So I will start. I think number 1 is Aladdin.
Can we choose the number we want to answer, or we have to go in order?
You can choose the number you want to answer, but if you've answered that number, then everybody coming up behind you has to pick a different one.
Okay. I would like to pick number 7. I think the movie is Up. The name of the movie is Up.
Okay, cool. Yes. So nice. Anybody else?
I'd like to answer number 4. Number 4 is Pinocchio.
Yes, it is. Okay.
I'd like to answer number 11. The movie is Inside Out.
Yes, yes, it is. Nice. Okay, so that's number 1 for 7-Eleven. We still have the rest of the answers to get through.
By chance is number 9 Toy Story.
It is.
Is number 10 Dumbo.
It is.
Is number 5 The Princess and the Frog.
Well, yeah. Okay.
I will leave
All
the
right.
rest for everybody else because
I was just about to ask you. All right. Great job, though.
Number 12 is Sleeping Beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And number 14 is Beauty and the Beast.
Yes. Great job.
Is number 2 Frozen?
Pardon?
Is number 2 Frozen?
Oh, yes. Yes, number 2 is Frozen. Anna, Elsa, and Olaf.
Did someone do number 4?
Yes, someone already did number 4.
Can I do number 8? Is it Mulan?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Nathaniel said number 13 is Lion King.
Which one is Lion King? Number 13. Yes. Great job, guys. Okay, I think we're just missing number 15 and 6 and 3.
Number 3 is The Little Mermaid.
Great. Wonderful.
Number 6 is
Rachel, 15 is
Cinderella.
finding Nemo.
15 is
Five.
finding Nemo.
Yeah.
And someone was saying what number 6 was?
Cinderella.
Cinderella.
Hmm. We don't know number 6, guys?
Cinderella.
Yeah,
Oh,
Cinderella.
yes, it is. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay,
Uh,
so great job.
what about
And we just had number 8
number
was
eight?
Mulan.
Oh, Mulan. Okay.
Yeah, someone said number 8.
Oh,
But great job. We all got all of them correct. So nice. And we're going to move into our content right now. Unfortunately, I have no prize today, but maybe another day, we'll organize something. So let's get started. We're going to start off with a bit of a discussion. What do you use social media for? So I'm going to take three persons who can tell me what they use social media for. It doesn't have to be just one use. You could just give us maybe a general overview of how you use social media or what exactly you use it for.
So my social media page, I do a lot of promos.
Mm-hmm.
It generally well rounded. It no matter what business it is, I will promote it because I have a bit of a high following on social
Okay.
media.
Okay, nice. Nice. So you use your social media page for promotions. Anybody else?
Um, I use my social media to make funny videos and to advertise my business.
Okay. All right. For advertisements and entertainment. Anybody else?
Marketing.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. What did you say, please?
Advertisement and marketing.
Oh, okay. Use it. What was the first one? I heard the marketing, but the first part?
Uh, is my network.
Hmm. Okay. So what I'm hearing, I think I heard entertainment, networking, and marketing. Is that correct?
You can also use social media to inform people about things like educating them on a specific topic.
Yes. So that's also another use of social media. So the next slide that I have here is just an overview of some things that you can use social media for. It's definitely not exhaustive. I mean, it's not all the things that you can use it for, but it's just to highlight a few of the uses. So some of the things that you all highlighted fell inside of here as well. Other things such as connecting with friends and keeping up with the latest news are also purposes of social media. So the rest of them are entertainment, learning, and talking with people. All right. Um, so our next part of it would be why does a content strategy matter? So as we saw before, right? Social media has a lot of uses. It can be a lot of fun. We can use it to share parts of our lives, connect with friends, or see what other people are up to. But the things that we share online can also help us reach our personal or professional goals. And you know that if you have a goal, you have to have a strategy or plan for you to work towards that goal. So it's not just I set a goal and I just say I want to do this or I want to travel, but I don't say where I want to travel to. I don't say when I want to travel. I don't say how long I want to travel for. That's not really a goal because it doesn't have the parameters defined or it doesn't have the goal itself is not defined in such a way that it's something I can work towards. It's basically like that would be classified in my mind as a dream or a wish or a desire, but not a goal, right? Sorry. Okay. So, content strategies. If we have personal or professional goals that can be achieved through social media, we also need to have a strategy as to how we're going to do that. And how we do that is by using a content strategy. What a content strategy does is, first of all, it shows who you are. So you plan ahead about what you want to post, and this helps you share not just the best version of yourself, but also the version of yourself that you think can help you achieve those goals online. So if you have, let's say, you're a climate advocate, and you also, you're a climate advocate, maybe you work with children as well, and you have a pet dog. There are ways that you can integrate all of this. But if you want the focus of your page to be climate advocacy, so that people can use it to reach out to you about opportunities within that sphere, you would focus the page mostly on climate advocacy. So when we say best version here, it's not that any version of yourself is a bad version. It's just that some versions of yourself, or some parts, some aspects, some facets of yourself are best for certain purposes. So if you want to focus on the climate advocacy part of your life, then your page would be focused on that, because that's what you want to show people. And that's the beauty of social media, I think, is that you can choose what you want to show. Like, there's absolutely no need for everybody to know everything there is about you, but you can choose which part that you want to focus on and which part that you want to direct opportunities to. So right here as well, if you love drawing, you might want to share your art. Or if you want to be a journalist, you might want to share articles that you've written or news that interests you. And I think I can use one of my friends as an example here. So I don't think she might, but she started a professional Twitter page for her writing, because she's a very good journalist. And while she's no longer working with news, she still enjoys journalism, and she still enjoys reporting and writing articles and interviewing people. And she made a page for her to work on that. And she actually got, through her page and through showing, her interest in news, her interest in journalism, and sharing her articles, sharing things that she found interesting, making sure the public was informed, she got an opportunity to speak on the BBC about Hurricane Beryl. So definitely, when you move with a goal in mind, or you show a certain part of yourself, there are opportunities that come in through that. Right? Are we following so far? Is everybody okay?
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
All right, great. So a content strategy also helps you stay focused. So by planning out your content, you can focus on what matters to you. So instead of posting random things that don't really reflect who you are, you can share things that align with your goals or values. And bear in mind that this is advice for a professional page, or a page that works towards a certain goal. So if you just have a page and you just want to share things with your friends or share your random thoughts, like, technically that is a content strategy as well, because your goal here would just be to entertain or just to socialize. It wouldn't really be to try to get opportunities or try to get a job or use it as evidence of your work in a certain field. But if it is any of those other things, you do need to plan out your content. So you need to plan out what you're going to focus on. If you're like, let's go back to the climate advocacy again. I feel like I'm more comfortable with that one because it's stuff that I know about. If you're a climate advocate, you might want to know about important holidays for climate change or just climate resilience. So, like, World Wetlands Day is February 2nd. So, if you're advocating for conservation of the environment, for climate change, World Wetlands Day, you might want to post something about the mangroves, or how they help, or what types of mangroves are there, what they're good for, how you've helped the mangroves. Maybe if you want to have a tree planting exercise, you'd put it on that day, right? So all of these things would fall within your content strategy and your content planning, because the holidays would influence your content planning. The activities that you go to would also influence your content planning. And then also, you'd want to plan out some filler content to fill in on days that maybe you're not at any particular event, or you're not sure what to post, or you don't really have like something on your mind. You could use content from before to highlight an issue or to speak about something, or just to reminisce on times past. Okay. So content strategies also help you engage your audience, because when you plan out your content, you're going to have to take into account who your audience is on this particular social media platform. Different social media platforms have different audiences. So LinkedIn would be, it's quite a wide range on LinkedIn, but it would mostly be people focused on like their professional journeys. They're looking for jobs, they're looking for opportunities, they're sharing things that they've done in the professional sphere or in their sphere of work, their advocacy, and what they're passionate about at the moment. Instagram is a bit younger. So Instagram is maybe like 16 to 30, if I'm remembering correctly, that subsection of youth. TikTok is a lot younger. TikTok, you could have children on there as young as 8 going up. And if you have, let's say, content for children, like, the toy channels or educational content for children, you might want to start on TikTok, or you might want to start on YouTube, because YouTube is also a good place, because of it's video based, like long form video based content. So if anyone's looking for like a longer video than TikTok is short form video content, sorry. So TikTok is shorter videos while YouTube is longer videos. So if you're looking to post those types of videos, YouTube would be a better platform, especially because it also has a very wide range of viewers. So that information is actually readily available online. So when you're planning to engage your audience, it's helpful to, one, research the platform that you're on, and two, use your audience demographics. So if you switch your Instagram account or your LinkedIn account or your Facebook account, any of those to a professional account, you'll find it in your settings. You could actually track where your audience is from. They'll show you the countries. You could track their ages. You could track their gender. You could track what times they're most active. So you know if you want something to have a lot of traction, you would post it at the time that most people are online so that they would see it. You could also track which posts they seem to like the best, and that would help inform you as to how to engage them best. Right? So you could actually see in the what do you call it? The name escapes me at the moment, but there's this section on your page. Can anybody help me? If you have a professional account, there's this section at the top that deals with interactions, likes, posts, shares, but I can't remember the
Insights.
insights. Thank you so much. Right. So if you go into your insights, you'll be able to actually see which posts have either the most likes, the most comments, or the most shares. And I'm just using those main three forms of interaction to track. And what I find useful, and something I've done before, is I actually just take the numbers, like look at the different posts, and decide whether it's a long form video, a short form video, a photo dump, which is just like a whole bunch of pictures, or just a single picture, and then I graph it. So I check against each other. I check which ones have the highest comments, which ones have the highest likes, and which ones have the highest shares. So depending on what I want the post to do, if I want it to be shared around, like let's say it's a poster for an event that's coming up, I would make it similar to the ones that have the highest shares. If I want people to engage with it, I make it similar to the ones that have the highest comments. And if it's just something that I want to share and it doesn't necessarily need to be engaged with or shared around, I would make it similar to the ones that have the highest likes. So that's just my personal method for tracking it, but you could also do it at a glance. That information isn't available in the insights. So whenever you want to look at it, you can do so. This is actually quite apt at the moment because I just restarted my own professional Instagram account. So I have to be doing these things as well. Right. So going back to what we said about the posts, the shares, the likes, from that data in your insights, you'll be able to figure out what your audience likes and why they like it. So do they like it because it's funny? Do you have a whole bunch of people laughing in the content? Do you have people maybe messaging you to say, hey, I really like your content. I really found this entertaining, or I can't stop laughing at this. Do they like it because it's educational? Do you have people saying, hey, thank you for sharing this. I never knew this. You never stop learning. Depending on what the response is from your audience, you can use it to map out how you interact with them going forward. Okay. And next up, we have what is an online reputation? So I'm going to take two people this time to share with us what they think or an online reputation is, or what they think online reputation means to them. Do we have any takers? Does anyone have any thoughts on online reputation, what it might mean, or what it is?
To me,
Ah,
I find an online reputation or an e-reputation is the reputation of a company, person, product, service, or any other element of the internet on digital platforms.
okay. Okay. And someone else was saying something? No?
I would make
All
a
right.
guess that is probably what you are known for, the content. What content you are known for posting and what's the goal of that content. Like if you usually post content for entertainment, like funny content, funny videos, or educational stuff, like if you're a doctor and you share your knowledge that's educational and so on, you know?
Okay. Okay. Good points on both sides. So online reputation definitely has to do with how people perceive you online. Okay. So your online reputation is basically when you're online, how do people see you or what do they know you for? So I think both of you kind of captured what it is. One person highlighted that it applies to both like businesses, so both professional and personal, or business and individual, while the other person highlighted that it definitely has a lot to do with what you're known for or how people see you. And it matters because your online reputation can make or break your first impressions with someone. So I think I could give a little story here. We've had programs before and we've had people who work with us based on the programs. And one time I was just scrolling through statuses on WhatsApp. I don't normally post on there, but sometimes when I have some time, I might just scroll to see if anyone's posting anything useful, like opportunities, job vacancies, because we do share those out as well. And while scrolling, I just happened to bounce up on the person's status. And the things I saw on there, if I had seen them before, like that person would not have worked with us at all on any project because it just did not give me a good impression of them. So I would definitely say be careful if this is a number that you give out for business purposes. Try to keep it professional on there. I mean, if it's your personal number, you can do what you want with it. But just bear in mind that people are always looking, and sometimes you won't know that they've seen it because while there are view accounts, you have to bear in mind that the view account just tells you which phone has opened your um profile picture status, but it never shows you people go back to it unless you're on Snapchat. Never shows you when people go back to it, and it doesn't show you if the person has other people around them looking as well. It also matters because of opportunities. So, like we spoke about before, with working towards a goal, your online reputation, if you're known for giving, let's say you're known for educational content, or you're known to be a reputable source of information, people might look to you or send you opportunities for things in those fields. So to expand on your work within that sphere. So like, let's go back to the example of the journalist that I highlighted earlier. She got an opportunity because she was known for sharing news. She had a very reputable platform. So if she shared anything, all the evidence was there to show that yes, this has been reported, or this is good information. It's not just hearsay, or it's not just something that I picked up online and I cannot verify where I got it from. When she'd post pictures, she'd give credits to the photographers. So little things like that shape your online reputation, or they shape your online perception. And the last one is lasting impact. So your online reputation would also have lasting impacts. And I know that's just repeating the title, but when you share things online, they're there forever. So you really do need to be careful what you share, be it personal, professional, even in your close friends or your private story. You still need to be careful, because some people don't have the best intentions. And while, you can choose not to focus on that, the fact still remains that the things that you share stay on the internet forever. And one of the things that I like to use to highlight that, well, two of the things, is WhatsApp has disappearing photos and videos. But what people don't realize, or what they're ignoring, is that even if I open it on my phone and I can't screenshot or record, somebody else can take a picture of my phone, right? So that is a possibility for this thing to be shared. So if I don't want something to be shared, I wait until I see the person to show them this thing on my phone instead of sending it. Because once you send it out, you've essentially relinquished control of this item. The second one is that, right, you could post something and not be able to see all the viewers. You could post something and in the 2 seconds that it's up, people have screenshotted it. And I think we're moving into an era where, oh, someone has their hand up, sure.
Yeah, this one thing I must say, you can Facebook and WhatsApp has a facility to share once. Yeah, you were saying
Yes,
that somebody can share it, but you want to show them in person. So there's another feature. You can share whatever
yes,
video or item once.
yes. I was saying that even if you share once, when it's open, like let's say it's open on my phone, somebody else can take a picture of their phone while it's open. Yeah, let's talk.
Yes, for sure. There's a slight possibility that they can be handy waiting with another phone while you open a photo that they don't know that you actually have as a once only view. Yeah, there's a possibility.
Yeah, but the reason I highlighted it was because recently we had a situation in our community where a relative of mine had to go to the hospital, and someone took a picture of, like, well, his injuries, and they used a share once and they sent it to, I think they sent it to one person, and the person that they sent it to opened it, but the thing is it doesn't time out, so they just had it open. Someone else took a picture of it, and then that picture ended up making rounds on social media. So as much as I like it, and I think if you trust a person, like, there's no issue of using the view once feature. I think we also need to just be aware that, nothing is really safe. That's just the hard truth of it. Nothing is really safe. And when they're out there, they're out there. I mean, the focus might not be on it after a while, but it's still out there, you know. Um, right. Did we have any more? Of
When you were saying about the injury, there's a lot of people they like to share photos of accident, body
Yeah.
part dismembered, and
Yeah.
it is not nice because each of us we have an obligation and responsibility to for the people that has died and the person that have injury to show them some sort of love and kindness and not to share their photo, not to share that
Mm-hmm.
image. Sometimes even before their loved ones find out about the incident, it's already all over social media. So we all have a responsibility to actually not to share this kind of information.
Right. Yeah, you're correct. And that goes back to not just online reputation, but also being responsible, both online and offline. You wouldn't want someone to do it to you or to your family members. And even if you would want them to do it, which I doubt anybody does, you should respect other people's wishes when they say, hey, I don't like this picture you took of me, please don't share it. And just speaking on that topic again, I know that a lot of us in here, I would assume that we use social media to interact with our friends or to share photos and stuff. When we're sharing photos, especially group photos, it's nice to always send a photo to the people in it and ask them if they're okay with you posting it. I think, like, sometimes we don't think about that, but I've also had situations where I share photo and my friend might be like, oh, I really don't like how I look in this, so I just delete it. And I think that's something that when we practice those acts of consideration for others on social media, it also helps us practice that in real life. And it shows people the type of people that we are, that we're thinking about them, and that we're treating them the same way that we would like to be treated, ideally. Okay. Were there any other discussion points or anything
You
you
know,
wanted to add?
I'm just thinking of mindfulness. Digital
Right.
mindfulness is coming to my mind, So this is something we have to be very careful. As you said, treat others how you want to be treated, and yeah, make the world a better place from it.
Yes, definitely. All right. So our next slide, we have some tips for an online, well, a positive online presence. Sorry. So again, your personal presence, or the persona that you present as your personal page, can be different from the persona that you present as your professional page, because people, they might not understand, but there is the concept of time and place. So while you're at work, you're professional, but you can be who you want to be outside of the bounds of your job or your employment or your school. While having said that, right, having said that, if you want to cultivate a positive online presence, there are certain things that you can do to either turn it around or create a presence that shows you as this type of person. So the first question to ask is, are your social media profiles private or public? So you need to decide whether you want to share your content publicly or if you want to keep it private. While private content can still end up being shared, because screenshots and screen recordings exist, um, the possibility is lower because it's not accessible to everybody. And it also allows you to find out who shared it. If your profile is very, very private, like let's say you just have 5 people on there, you can narrow it down much much more easily than if you have 1,000 followers and your profile is open to the public, right? You want to be kind and respectful. So we just spoke about that online. So treating others with kindness online, just as you would in person. Avoid getting involved in online drama or negative interactions. Now, on this point, I just want to say that I am not the most how do I say it? I like to say that I'm a confrontational person, and people normally take confrontation to mean something negative. But when I say it, I just mean in that if you say something or do something to me that I don't appreciate, I'm going to let you know about it. So I don't shy away from confrontation, right? But that can be perceived negatively online. So when we talk about online drama or negative interactions, you kind of want to avoid, um, cursing people, calling people names, making fun of people. It seems to be more prevalent on social media right now, that people take screenshots of others, they take pictures of others, especially as Carnival just passed. Um, they're taking pictures of people on the road, they're taking pictures of people in their swimsuits, and then they're posting it online to make fun of them. So stuff like that does not contribute to a positive online presence, but stuff like that also means that you're just not a nice person. So if that is something that you see people doing, it's also all right to speak to them and let them know that it's not okay. Because a lot of the people who do it also have their own insecurities that they wouldn't like other people to highlight. Um, but yes, in general, we just try to be kind and respectful across the board. And I just wanted to highlight that being kind and respectful does not mean that you cannot be firm and maintain your boundaries. It doesn't mean that you cannot say when someone has disrespected you. And it also does not mean that people are allowed to walk over you. So, in as much as you're being kind and respectful, if you feel that someone has done something disrespectful on social media, or they've said something, or they've brought it to a place where it did not need to be, it's also all right to take a stand and let them know in no uncertain terms how you feel about it. If it is your friend, you can take it offline instead of continuing online. Um, but if it is someone like maybe an online friend, someone you've never met in person, maybe you don't have their number, you could just let them know nicely, respectfully, that you don't appreciate it. Okay? The next one is to monitor your digital footprint. So you want to also regularly search up your name online to see what comes up. So that could help you identify potential issues with your online reputation and address them quickly. Especially if someone is pretending to be you. If you're searching your name up online, you'll be able to see if there are any profiles that are maybe mimicking you or pretending to be you. Now that might not be a problem for a lot of people, but you also want to do it because when you search up your name online, especially from um, um, incognito mode, if you search up your name online in incognito mode, you will be able to see what it looks like if somebody else was to search up your name online. And sometimes universities and jobs also do that. They just pull up your name online to see what your online reputation looks like. So search up your name, see what you find, and then if there's anything that you don't like and it's on your profile, you can delete it. Or if it's on someone else's profile, you can ask them to delete it. And they're supposed to. If they don't, you can always report the page and have your friends and family report the page as well. At this point, I just want us to pause for a moment and just Google your name and see what you get. I think I could also do it on here, so that we could see what that looks like. It's probably not going to look, I'll use another tab instead. So if I search in my name, right, and I look at, okay, so you already spelled correct in my name, but if I search up my name and I look at what I get here is I get my LinkedIn, I get my Instagram, I get Facebook, I get LinkedIn again. I have a couple pictures here. Actually, don't know where this is. I have a post on a page. I have my Pinterest page, the same Instagram page. This was a government thing they had to sign up for a YouTube. But this is the first page, and most people don't go past the first page. So you can go past the first page if you want to do like a deep clean. But if you just want to see what someone else sees at a glance, this is something that you can do really quickly to see what's going on. I like that when I search it up, I don't find my personal profile, even though it has my name in the title. So that's just an example of one of the things that you can do to manage your digital reputation. Okay. All right. So we're moving on to our next tip.
You know, that's so cool. I'm just looking up my profile and I'm seeing, wow, there's so much things I don't remember that I put out there, but it's very good.
Yes. So it's also a good way to see the positive things about yourself as well. Because I didn't even remember, that robotics thing. So definitely a good way to keep track of both the good and the bad and make sure that it's showing what you want to show, right? Okay, so now we're going to move to our, sorry, I think I just tapped on the participants by accident. We're going to move to our next part of a positive online presence. We're going to, well, you're supposed to limit the personal information that is shared. So you want to avoid sharing too much personal information online. So things like your full address, your phone number, your location, you want to be careful with those. Just because it's not quite safe online, everybody can see it, and I don't think sometimes we understand the magnitude of everybody. There are millions of people online from millions of different well, not millions of different countries, but millions of people online from hundreds, from quite a few different countries, and all of these people can see the information that you put out on public profiles. So you do want to be careful with sharing where you are all the time, or putting your address out there, or putting your phone number, or even your email. Sometimes I try also not to link my email to every different social media profile that I have, because if the social media profile gets compromised, I don't want my email to be compromised as well. So what I've started doing was I made a new email address, like an informal one, and I linked that to all of my social media profiles instead of the email that I use for professional purposes. Right? So limiting personal information also means that you don't really cultivate something called parasocial relationships, where you share so much personal information online that people feel like they know you. Um, and while that one would not be your fault, it can be kind of reduced. The possibility can be reduced that people feel so familiar with you when you limit the amount that you share. So for me, it looks like people might know, okay, like, I have a random cat that comes to visit my house, but they don't know where the house is. They don't know when I'm there. They don't know what it looks like. They just know that there's a cat coming in and out. So you can share, your little stories, your anecdotes, however you feel about certain things, but you also want to be careful about how much that you share. Okay. So how would you handle this scenario? A friend posts your picture without your consent. Can we have two people to talk about it?
Ask them to please take it down.
Okay. Okay.
I would privately message them and ask them why they posted a picture and
Mm-hmm.
tell them like why I don't want that picture of me to be posted and hopefully help them understand my point of view and they would take it down.
Nice. Okay. So definitely both of these are valid responses. You could let your friend know that you don't appreciate it and you want to take it down. Or if you don't mind the picture, you could just let them know that, in future you'd like them to ask first before they post. What about this one? Someone leaves a negative comment on one of your posts. So someone mentioned before that they share like funny videos. If someone left a really negative comment on one of your videos, like how would you deal with it? And I do think that I might have to turn off the camera to hit my bandwidth. Yes. How would you deal with that?
Well,
Sorry.
you could, well, I would just message them privately instead and say why you have all the things to say you cannot do better.
Okay. Yes. So that's definitely an option to message the person privately and speak about it. Um, Anybody else?
A lot of times when people post negative comments, I've seen other people who had positive. Wait, no. What I'm trying to say is when somebody posts a negative comment, people who understand the person who posted the video, they would actually try to defend that person and ask them why they would say something like that and tell them like if you say that, well, that wasn't funny or something like that, somebody would eventually come up and say, well, if you don't find it funny, other people would find it funny, right? Is your opinions. And if you don't have anything good to say, you should keep it to yourself. But a lot of people, they just block the comments on most of the videos that they think would have negative comments. But usually after people get commented on a comment that they had sent which was negative, they would take it down and you would realize, oh well, this,
Okay.
if you
Yes.
understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I do. I do. Somebody else also put something in the chat, and I think that this is also a very valid reaction. Ignore them and move on with my day. I think that came from Katija. But yes, ignoring is also a very valid way to handle that scenario. I think it also needs to be said in this day and age where we have a lot of information and a lot of people interacting with us on a daily just because of how accessible social media makes us. It's also fine to ignore things sometimes. We don't have to take everything on, we don't have to pay attention to everything, and we definitely don't have to give people attention when they come to us with negativity. Now, negativity and constructive criticism are not the same, but that is a topic for a little like another day or something. Um, so ignoring is also a valid response, just leaving it where it is. And if other people want to take it on, that's up to them. All right. So now we're going to touch a bit on data driven decisions and what they are. Data driven decisions are choices made based on actual data rather than your intuition or personal experience. So on social media, this means what we highlighted previously about using data collected from your posts and your followers to guide what you post and how you interact with your audience. Have you ever wondered when is the best time to post your favorite selfie so you can get the most likes and interactions? Well, you don't need to wonder about it because that information is in the data that Instagram collects on your followers and on the post that you shared prior so that you can use it to decide when to post. So, the best times to post on Instagram 2024 are listed online as well. You can see them here 12 to 1 p.m. on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. Sundays is 1 to 5. Saturdays is 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Thursdays is 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. While Wednesdays are 8 p.m., 2 p.m., and 6 p.m. So a simple Google search could tell you when is the right time to post. So like we said before, you need a professional account to see your metrics on Instagram, but this is how you understand them. Your likes are the number of times that users have liked your post. It indicates how well your content resonates with your audience. Your comments are the number of comments on your post. It reflects engagement and the level of interaction that your content generates. Shares are the number of times your post has been shared, and it indicates how much your audience want to spread your content. Saves are the number of times your posts have been saved by users, and it shows that your content is valuable or inspirational to your audience or that they want to come back to it. Impressions is just the total number of times your post was seen. This includes repeat views by the same users. Your reach is the number of unique users who have seen your post, and it helps you understand how many different people your content reaches. While profile visits are the number of times users have visited your profile from a post. It reflects interest in your overall profile and content. So you could actually see from a post if it's actually driving traffic to your profile. And if that's something that you want to do, you'd post more posts like that. The difference between reach and impressions is that impressions includes repeat views by the same users, while reach is the number of unique users or just one. An increase of one in the reach is a new person who has seen this content. So if you compare your reach and your impressions, you can kind of tell if the unique users are coming back to view the post as well. Okay. So you can use this data to identify patterns, optimize your posting times, and tailor your content. And all of this would fall within your content strategy. You'd look at what types of posts get the most engagement and you'd find out the why. You'd use the data to determine the best times to post based on when your followers are the most active. And you would adjust your content strategy based on your audience preferences and behaviors. So, any questions or comments?
I have a question.
Sure.
Is the social media online presence necessary for certain jobs? Because I've heard in school recently that jobs are now looking at your social media if they should hire you or not. And I've never been interested in social media, nor do I have.
Okay. So we could look at it one of two ways. So one thing or one part of it is they're looking at your social media profiles to kind of get a better understanding of who you are. So if it's not really something that you're into, you don't really have to worry about that. Although sometimes people do just have a LinkedIn profile so that they can post their professional achievements. So if anybody was to search them up, all they would get would be the LinkedIn, and all they would get on the LinkedIn would be the things that you were proud of or the things that you enjoy doing or your passions, your goals, your dreams. That's what would be on your LinkedIn. So that's one option, to just have that there for any businesses that might search it up. Or you could continue how you are currently with no social media profiles. If that's not something that you're interested in doing, that's also fine. But I don't, well, let me say, businesses should not use your social media profile. Like, businesses should not use the existence of your social media profiles to decide whether to hire you or not. They can use those that are existing to decide if you're going to be a good fit for the company based off of what you post alone. Although even that is shaky because, like I said, sometimes the things that you post online don't necessarily reflect who you are. So, as far as I know, they use it to gauge who you are, but it shouldn't affect whether you get the existence of the social media profile shouldn't affect whether you get the job or not. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
I,
Okay, so let's get into AI. What is AI? AI is known as artificial intelligence. It is the ability of computers and machines to mimic human thinking and behavior. Notice that I said mimic and not replicate because at this point in time, there's nothing that is able to replicate human thinking and behavior down to our consciousness. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But for now, let's say some examples of artificial intelligence that you know of in different sectors. Do you all know of any? Would anyone like to share?
ChatGPT.
Okay, so ChatGPT. Okay. All right. So that's our one example for now. That's fine. So we have some more examples now. So voice assistant. So Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant, all of those are voice control assistants that understand your voice commands and respond accordingly. Whether you're asking for the weather, playing music, or setting reminders. Recommendation algorithms such as Netflix, Spotify, or YouTube use AI to analyze your viewing or listening history and suggest things that you might like based on your preferences, which creates a more personalized experience. So if you have Spotify, you might know about the AI DJ, which is basically a DJ that creates a playlist for you and walks you through it based on the things that you've listened to before. If you have Netflix, you would know about the shows you might like section where it recommends shows to you based on what you've been watching. And you know that if you watch any kind of new shows, like let's say you're always watching um history shows and then you switch to like comedy or you switch to action, you realize that the recommended for you also changes. You could also try that when you go home. Social media feeds. So AI also helps curate the content that you see on your social media feeds by analyzing your interactions, likes, and follows. So you might realize that your feed also changes. There was a time I was looking for acrylic nails for my nail tech, and when I went back to my feed, all of it was just pictures of nails. But I wasn't. It wasn't that I wanted to see all of them. I was just looking for pictures for my nail tech. Um, Photo filters and editing apps such as Snapchat and Instagram. AI is used to apply the filters, detect faces, or even enhance images automatically, which makes photo editing more accessible and fun. Do you think that AI should be allowed to make decisions that affect our lives, such as hiring for jobs, determining our school curriculum, or making medical diagnoses? Why or why not? And you can drop your answer in the chat. um, you could think about it and you can make a decision at a later time. But just give it a little bit of thought. Do you think that AI should be allowed to make decisions that affect our lives, such as hiring for jobs, determining our school curriculum, or making medical diagnoses? All right. So let's look at some more applications of AI. AI in education. So applications like Duolingo and Khan Academy actually use artificial intelligence to tailor lessons based on a learner's progress in areas where they need improvement. And that includes things like adapting to different learning styles and speeds, which offers a customized learning experience. Okay. AI in the workplace, AI chatbots would handle customer inquiries, and they provide instant responses and solutions. They can answer common questions, guide users through processes, and escalate issues to human agents when necessary. They're also convenient because they provide 24/7 support and they reduce the wait times for customers. And generative AI now, you might be hearing a bit more about it now because of the advent of ChatGPT and similar learning language models. Refers to a subset of artificial intelligence techniques and models that generate new data Okay, cool. So we spoke about generative AI. It has diverse applications. So a couple of examples, someone highlighted ChatGPT, which is a learning language model. It uses the text or the examples of language and how it's used that you put in to give you information back. So there's also voice mod where you can make songs, or you can sing, like actually have AI sing a song for you, and Adobe Firefly where you can generate images. So if you've used any of those before, we're just going to skip the question because we're running out of time. But if you have used any of these before, how was your experience? I want you to think about that. And if you haven't used it as yet, feel free to go on there and play around with it for a bit and see what it's like. Okay, so some benefits of generative AI. We have efficient content creation. So generative AI can create high quality content quickly, such as articles, reports, social media posts, or even complex narratives. This reduces the time and effort required by human writers. Automated design and visuals. So tools like Adobe Firefly and Midjourney can generate unique and creative images or design elements based on text prompts, aiding in graphic design and marketing. Automation of routine tasks. So AI can actually help you automate repetitive tasks such as drafting emails, creating reports, or even assisting with customer service queries through chatbots. Um, and Like I said, you can try this in your free time. I will probably send this presentation to Mrs. Claxton so that she can share it with you as well. And then our next thing is just our recap, which we're going to do really quickly. But just before we do that, on the topic of generative AI, while it is a very useful tool, I want you to also remember that the greatest thing in the universe right now is the human brain. Nothing has been able to replicate your brain or how it works or your consciousness. So that's not something that you can get from any AI technology or any chatbot. And while you can use AI to help you work out, structure and help you cut down on the amount of time that you spend doing repetitive tasks, it should also be said that you should always check this content when it comes out of it, and you should not use it for things like your schoolwork where they're asking you, let's say they ask you to solve a math problem, and instead of doing it yourself, you put it in the AI chatbot or you put it in chat GPT and you ask chat GPT to solve it. And the reason you shouldn't do that is because the purpose that it was given to you for was for you to do it and not for you to give it to something else to do. All right. So that aside, there are also concerns about the ethics and bias in artificial intelligence. And this is something that you could also read up on yourself is if it is a topic that interests you. But you also want to be careful when you take artists' work, like their pictures or their songs, and you feed it into AI models because they might not appreciate that. Some people don't mind, but other people do. So you always want to ask first. So, our recap, we discussed social media content strategy and the significance of having a strategic plan for social media posts to achieve personal or professional goals. We discussed online reputation management, highlighting the importance of being cautious about what you share online to maintain a positive reputation. We discussed data driven decision making based on analytics and data, the definition and applications of AI in daily life, and generative AI and its benefits. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you learned something new today and this is useful for you moving forward, and it's something that you can apply, whether it be in school, in work, or on your social media profiles as you work on your own passion projects. And thank you so much for your time, everyone.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so very much for that insightful Anna-Kaye. Thank you to Orbtronics for their input in today's session. We really appreciate that. And we'd like to just to, yes, review the presentation, at their own time, and even the recording as well, and really take the information into consideration when dealing with social media and AI. Okay, so we'd now like to introduce Mr. Sherwin Forte from the Bankers Association. Mr. Ford will give us some insights into social media and internet safety. So, Mr. Sherwin Forte, thank you.
So first of all, let me say good morning or good afternoon to each and every one of you. Right? This is indeed a pleasure to be here this morning representing the Bankers Association of Trinidad and Tobago. And indeed for myself, right, I am very grateful for the opportunity to be able to talk to each and every one of you today, especially the young ladies, about fraud awareness and online safety. I noticed that we have an audience from as far-reaching as Uganda, the USA, South Africa, the Caribbean islands, Pakistan, right? So I'm really thrilled to be able to do this today. I was especially pleased with the presenter that went before me, Anna-Kaye. I am saying it publicly. Well done. That was absolutely well done. I mean, I don't even know what to add, right? Because it really did show up what the world has become today in terms of using AI and in terms of using technology to revolutionize the way we do business, the way we interact with each other, the way we do things on the whole. So having said that, let me actually start with what I want to talk to you about today. And I promise that I won't be long. I'll try to be within the 30, 40 minutes that I have. So a few years ago, the world would have experienced the COVID-19 pandemic. And it coincided with what I would call an equally threatening scamdemic. It really was a global epidemic of scams and frauds. So because the world changed and people started doing things online, people started doing things anonymously, for want of a better description, the fraudsters capitalized on this. And it really did introduce what we are now calling a scamdemic. So the internet or cyberspace has become a dangerous place. So in spite of all the good that the internet is, in spite of all the good that technology has provided us, it has in fact become a very dangerous place filled with many risks. It is no less dangerous than the physical world. And if we are wise enough to exercise caution in the physical world, then I would suggest that as we navigate cyberspace, that we exercise the same caution and awareness. And I liked what Anna-Kaye would have said, nothing is safe, nothing is secure in cyberspace. It remains there. You think that you share something and it disappears. It really doesn't. We as individuals have become heavily dependent on information communication technology, ICT, to shop, to pay our bills, to communicate, to do business, and to manage our finances. ICT has created many opportunities for each and every one of us. And from what I am understanding, a lot of you young ladies are taking advantage of these opportunities that it has presented. However, just to talk about the dark side of technology for a bit, criminals are also taking advantage of ICT. They are using it to commit crimes such as data theft, ransomware, and cyber-related fraud, which is what we're going to be talking about this morning. So among these scams and frauds are romance fraud, investment fraud, online job scams, and loan application fraud. Just to take a minute to explain one or two of these, I am sure that you all are very familiar with them, right? But for those of you who are not, a romance fraud is quite a simple fraud. What it involves is ensuring that someone is duped into believing that they have found love, that they have found romance, and that they are in a relationship with someone that they have never met and that they have that they barely know. Now, I didn't include a slide that I would normally include in a presentation like this, where it actually shows how the relationships start. Someone meets an individual online. Of course, it is a fictitious individual, and that person pledges their love, pledges their support, and seduces the person into a romantic relationship. And I always wondered, why is it that women, and not only women, but men also fall prey to these types of relationships? But when I saw some of the language that is used, right, and I'm sorry that I really didn't include that slide today, I decided to leave it out because of the tender age of the audience. But I saw some of the things that they actually tell women in terms of ensuring that they really fall prey to this love that they say that they are offering to them. And people really do fall prey to it. And once they feel that they're in love and that this person is coming to marry them or is going to meet them eventually, they start asking for financial support, they start asking for money, and people have been duped into actually providing that money. This type of fraud generally attacks elderly persons, single older women, but it has been known to be successful with younger persons as well, both male and female. And people have parted with their hard-earned finances through this type of trickery. In addition to romance fraud, we also have a plethora of investment fraud schemes that are taking place across the globe internationally. People are being advised that they can invest a small amount of money, $500, $1,000, $2,000 for hefty returns. And it draws my mind back to something I read a few years ago, that one of the law lords in the UK back in the 17th century said that fraud is not something that they're going to penalize heavily. And the reason that they will not penalize fraud heavily is that the common man has or is supposed to have sufficient common sense and sufficient prudence to know when something is true or when something is not true. So for instance, if the banks across the world are offering you 2 to 3% interest on your savings and on your investments, then if someone comes and offers you an astronomical or phenomenal return on your investments, maybe 1,000% within 48 hours, you are supposed to know that something is wrong with that. But people fall prey to these schemes. They give away their hard-earned money. I believe in that if they invest $2,000, they can get back $48,000 in 48 hours. In addition to that, fraudsters have been known to advertise online jobs. People desperate, and I heard someone ask the question earlier on about your social media page and Facebook page, and if you need to have that information to actually work in this day and age, fraudsters ask for that type of information, and they use that type of information for their own benefit. We have seen over the last few months where persons have given up that information. They have applied for what they believe is an online job, and fraudsters use their account information to put illegally gained money into that account, and the person, under the guise that they're actually working, accepts the funds into their account, keeps what they believe is a pay or payment for what they are doing, and they send or wire transfer the rest of the money to the fraudster. So we have seen a lot of people got caught in this act of fraud. So it's something that you need to pay attention to, especially when it comes to these online jobs. And of course, banks offer loans, and there are fintechs that are setting up all over the world now. But people, we need to be careful when we see loans being offered online. For the most part, a lot of these are scams, and people have fallen prey, have fallen victim to it as well by giving up their hard-earned money in anticipation that they're going to get a loan. So these are just some examples of the types of cyber-related fraud that is occurring. But what has caused or what has accounted for this drastic increase, apart from the COVID-19 pandemic? The reality is this: the world has gradually shifted away from digital payment channels into what we are now referring to as digital payment channels. A few years ago, many of you here and your parents would have used checks, would have used cash, would have used credit cards to go to a place like that in the background called a mall or some shopping plaza to make purchases. That was the way we did things. Nowadays, people can sit in the comfort of their home using their tablets, using their laptops. They don't need to carry cash or credit cards around. They can use their phones to make purchases. They can use virtual credit cards online, and they don't need to go to any mall to pick up the items. The items come delivered to your home. So I'm certain, and most of us are familiar with this experience. It is a new experience. It has revolutionized the world. It has revolutionized the way we do things. But guess what? Fraudsters have also embraced digitization. The IBM Threat Intelligence Report of 2024 indicates that they have shifted from brute force attacks to actually logging in using valid credentials. And this has resulted in what is referred today as account takeover fraud, which is one of the greatest problems with which we are faced in the financial services industry today. So armed with this information, login credentials, usernames, passwords, secret answers, criminals have been very successful at resetting customers' passwords and taking over their bank accounts and stealing their hard-earned finances. So this shift from attacking businesses to attacking customers has happened because businesses have become better at cybersecurity. Businesses have improved their cybersecurity. So fraudsters have now decided, let's attack the weakest link. Let's attack what is vulnerable. And they are doing this through something referred to as social engineering, which we will discuss a little bit later. Anna-Kaye would have mentioned just now artificial intelligence, which is now widely available and inexpensive, along with other apps, which helps fraudsters to spoof their caller IDs, to actually clone voices, and to use deep fake technology, which we will discuss shortly. But let's now take an example, or take a look at an example rather, of one of those technologies that is available to bad actors and see how it could impact us.
So, you are happy and are taking a selfie. You smile, strike a pose, and take the photo. But as you capture the moment, your fingertips may inadvertently enter the frame. Now, do you realize how that can be used against you? How this one selfie that you posted to your social media can turn your life upside down? Well, what you might not realize is that with the power of advanced algorithms, high-quality images of your fingerprints can be extracted directly from that photo. There is a new technology that can extract your fingerprints from photos with remarkable precision and detail. This development poses significant risks, as it allows hackers to replicate your fingerprints and potentially use them for various fraudulent activities. This development introduces a new dimension to our online privacy concerns. Once hackers have access to your fingerprints, the potential for misuse is alarming. They could digitally replicate your prints and use them to unlock your phone, access sensitive information, or even gain entry to secure locations protected by biometric security systems. This kind of unauthorized access can lead to a range of cybercrimes, such as bank fraud, where criminals could use your fingerprints to authorize transactions or access your financial accounts. Moreover, hackers can perform SIM card fraud by using your fingerprints to bypass authentication processes and gain control of your phone number. This allows them to intercept one-time passcodes sent to your phone, giving them access to your online banking and other important accounts. Additionally, biometric fraud could occur if criminals use your fingerprints to manipulate systems that rely on biometric authentication, such as passports or access control systems. Given these risks, it's essential to take measures to protect your privacy. Start by being mindful of how you position your hands in selfies. Avoid showing your fingertips clearly. You can also use filters to blur out sensitive areas in your photos, minimizing the risk of fingerprint extraction. As technology continues to advance, it's crucial to stay vigilant and adapt to emerging threats. Be cautious about what you're sharing in your selfies and take proactive steps to protect your identity. After watching this video, why not go through your feed and check if you posted any such images? It's always better to be safe than sorry. Stay safe and happy posting.
All right, so as the narrator said in the video, it's better to be safe than sorry. And the intention here is not to cause anyone to panic, because now that you are armed with information, you can be better prepared to protect yourself. Once you are aware of who the enemy is, you can protect yourself. If you don't know who the enemy is, then you'll always be exposed. But today, the intention is really to open up the enemy to you so that you can understand what these fraudsters are doing, what these bad actors are doing, and that you can take the necessary precautions. So that technology demonstrated is only one technology that is used by fraudsters. There's a whole host of other technologies that are available to them. The more technologies are available to us, the more technologies are available to them. And sometimes when we develop these technologies, we haven't done the proper risk assessments in advance to determine how this can be used against us. Nevertheless, the technology is good. So I won't say that the technology is not good. It's just that it falls into the wrong hands, and these fraudsters are now using it to attack us. If, however, as I've indicated earlier on, that business places and persons are becoming a little bit more cyber conscious or cyber security conscious, and they're practicing proper cyber hygiene, sometimes it becomes a little bit more difficult for the fraudsters to get through. However, if they can't get through using the technology that they have, they use another method referred to as social engineering. What exactly is social engineering? So just to hear some feedback from you all, does anybody want to volunteer a response? What is social engineering? What do you think of when you hear the concept or the term? Anybody?
Teacher, you want to take a try based on the information thus far?
I would say social engineering. If they can't get through to you through the screen, and they'll get through to you through words, they'll engineer some sort of scheme to make you fall for it. I'm not sure.
Okay, fair enough. We'll take that and we'll move on. So social engineering is really the art and science of manipulation. It's nothing new. It's just that with the advent of technology, fraudsters are now able to use the technology to continue and to develop an art that was available for centuries. So social engineering, as I indicated, is really about manipulating individuals. So I'll use a local example. We have had a lot of crime in our country. And one of the things that criminals would have done years ago in terms of social engineering is actually get uniforms of maybe a reputable organization. For instance, our electricity company, they would get the hard hats, the overalls, and visit homes under the pretext that they are working with this company. And people seeing the uniforms would believe that these are bona fide persons who are from the electricity company and let them into their homes. And of course, the criminals would carry out the robbery. So that's just an example of social engineering. It's manipulating people. Nowadays, the fraudsters are using the technology that is available to do the same thing online. So there are three streams of social engineering. One is the electronic stream, which is done via email, text messages, or social media. And this is referred to as phishing or smishing. Then there's the telephonic angle, which is a pretext call, and it's done through something referred to as vishing. It is much more difficult to defend against this now because fraudsters also have software that allows them to be able to spoof their caller ID and to clone their voices. Right? There is a video that I normally show where there is a cloned voice where a father hears his daughter's voice on the phone, and he believes that she's in trouble, and he is prepared to spend some money or to give the criminals some money, right? Only but for the intervention of her mother. Right? But I don't have that video here this morning in the interest of time, but I'll tell you about it. And then, of course, there is in-person, which is less common, which is the least common thing that people will do to perpetrate fraud. So phishing, as I indicated, refers to when there is an email. So let's look at an example of a phishing social engineering technique here. On the left of the screen, you will see that someone wrote to Debbie, and of course, this email, incidentally, was generated through AI. In the past, fraudsters would have prepared email, and what we would have told you then was to look for grammatical errors, look for spelling errors, and those are the things that are giveaways. They are telltale signs that something is wrong. Now the fraudsters are using AI to produce well-worded, grammatically and properly structured email. But what remains the same is this. To ensure your spot, click on the following link now. Similarly, in addition to the email, they also use text messages to deliver the same type of message. The prize needs to be claimed ASAP, as soon as possible. So there always seems to be some type of rush, some type of haste, forcing you into doing this immediately. With phishing, once you click on this link, then they begin to ask questions in terms of revealing your banking information, your credit card information. So what we advise people to do is to never click on a link, especially if it's an unsolicited email. You didn't ask for the email, you're not expecting the email from someone, don't click on the link. Don't provide any information, because banks, financial institutions on the whole will not ask you to input your financial information on any link. So take that as the gospel truth. It will never happen. So if it happens to you, immediately delete, report it. Likewise, they won't do the same thing through text messaging either. And then, of course, there is what is referred to as vishing, which is voice cloning. Sometimes the fraudsters may not send an email, as in phishing. They may not send a text message, as in smishing, but they may call you, right, via the phone using their voices or a clone voice. And that is referred to as vishing, where they could get information from you, telling you that you have won something and you need to provide them with information. And people have fallen prey to this. And at the bottom right on the screen there, that is something referred to as deep fake technology, which is also possible through AI. The person on the left is the actual person. This is the original. And this is AI generated imaging called a deep fake of Tom Cruise, the actor Tom Cruise. So I'll just give a short story here. A few years ago, the CFO of a company received a request to wire $50 million to another party. Of course, it raised his suspicion. So he contacted the CEO, or who he believed was the CEO, by phone and asked him about the transaction. And because the person was using voice cloning, he believed the voice. But because he was still suspicious, he asked to have a Teams meeting with the CEO to confirm. And he had the Teams meeting. Everything was set up on Teams. So he saw the person, he heard the person. And the fraudsters were using the technology that we are speaking about today. Voice cloning and deep fake technology, where he was actually able to present himself as the CEO of that organization. And the CFO, who knew this man, fell victim. And he was and he wired away the $50 million, and the company lost that money. Right? So that is how serious this type of technology is in terms of cyber-related fraud. So next, I'll show you how simple it is to be done in person. And if you think that in person is easy, just imagine how much more easy it is to do it using the technology. Let's look at an in-person example.
We've been hearing a lot about cybersecurity lately, largely because of what happened to Sony. Companies and individuals are more concerned about the safety and privacy of their information than ever. President Obama has unveiled a number of new proposals this week to crack down on hackers, and he plans to address this in the State of the Union speech on Tuesday. And it's great that the government is working on this, but the truth of the matter is we need to do a better job of protecting ourselves. The most popular password in the United States is password 123. And as long as that's the case, we're vulnerable. So today we sent a camera out on a Hollywood Boulevard to help people by asking them to tell us their password. And this is how that went.
We're talking about cybersecurity today and how safe people's passwords are. What is one of your online passwords currently?
It is my dog's name and the year I graduated from high school.
Oh, what kind of dog do you have?
I have a Chihuahua Papillon.
And what's his name?
Jameson.
Jameson. And where'd you go to school?
I went to school back in Greensburg, Pennsylvania.
What school?
Hempfield Area Senior High School.
Oh, when did you graduate?
In 2009.
Oh, great.
It's like my cat's name and then just like a random number.
Okay. Have you had this cat for a while?
Yeah, she's my childhood pet.
Aw. And what's her name?
Her name is Jolie.
Jolie. Mm-hmm. So like a password of yours would be Jolie and then a number.
Yeah.
Like number 1?
Like my birthday.
Oh, when is your birthday?
June 12th.
Oh, nice. And what year were you born?
95.
Oh, great. So Jolie, 6/12/95.
Yes.
Got it.
So you mean to give my password right now? No, I cannot do that.
But we all want to know what it is so we can tell you if it's strong or not.
Oh my goodness. Let me think. Okay, one is Tel Aviv. Yeah. 468, and then Israel. It's only 3, but it's for me it's strong enough.
Ireland
1, 2, 3, 4. Gemma. 1, 2, 3. Spelled Gemma. Well, most of them are Italian.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Like,
So
like what's a good Italian password?
my grandma's name.
What's your grandma's name?
Maria.
Maria. So Maria is your password?
Oh yeah, now you know my password. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, the important thing is they learned a terrible lesson.
So as comical as it was, that is the reality. That is how easily it is. A good con artist is able to extract information from people. So social engineering is referred to as attacking or hacking the human. So because fraudsters are unable to get into systems, because people are practicing better cybersecurity, they attack the human being. And human beings fall prey to social engineering because we are generally trusting beings. We are generally trusting creatures. We trust persons who hold positions of authority over us. We trust our parents. We trust our friends. We trust. Some persons also fall prey to this because of fear. What the fraudsters generally do, once they have built up a relationship with someone, they start to induce some type of fear into the person, threatening them. For instance, in the romance fraud scheme, they tell them about the parcel that they have delivered, and if they don't collect the parcel, the customs officials or the police are going to be informed and they're going to arrest them and they need to make the payment, etc., or else they'll be charged with money laundering. In addition, some people have greedy desires and they see things that are advertised. For instance, some phishing email come with a promise of a Samsung phone or maybe an Apple iPhone, and people fall prey to it believing that they have actually won one, have not taken part in any competition, but because of their desire to gain one, they put in their information believing that they are so fortunate, so blessed, so lucky to receive such a prize. And of course, the last method is preying on people's empathy. Recently in the Caribbean, we had Hurricane Beryl, which was very disastrous, not only to us, but also in the US. And a lot of fraudsters are actually preying on this now, asking people to support the victims of that hurricane, preying on people's empathy and asking them to make contributions. And of course, that leads to fraud. Many people are being defrauded of their hard-earned funds, and the money doesn't go to the hurricane impacted victims. So what are some red flags to look out for this type of fraud? As I've indicated, haste is always an indication. When someone is hurrying you, when someone is asking you or trying to intimidate you into doing something, that always is an indication. That always is a red flag that something might be up. So pay attention to that. When people are threatening you, when people are trying to prey on your empathy, when people try to build trusting relationships with you, when you have never seen the person, when you have never met the person in person, but they are asking you for money, that is a red flag that you are probably being swindled. So what do you do to avoid it? I'll provide you with some online safety tips. First of all, I'll give you my general rule of thumb, and then I'll provide some quick tips. So my general rule of thumb is this. If it's too good to be true, then it probably is too good to be true. Then it probably isn't real. So that's the first thing. If something seems too good to be true, then please avoid it. Maybe a decade or two ago, some of you may have seen email. I remember one in particular as clear as day because I received one in my email many years ago from a Coca-Cola company advising that I had won 100,000 US in some campaign that they had. I knew that I never participated in any campaign, so I just left the email as it was. But there are persons who believed that they would have won money via this means, and they sent money to collect the prize, to clear the prize. A lot of people fell prey to that. Now the fraudsters have become a little bit more sophisticated, and they are using the technology to actually force you into actually believing that what they are saying is true. Second rule of thumb, be politely paranoid, especially when someone is asking you for money or your financial information. Assume immediately that the person on the other end is a fraudster. Don't think for 1 minute that they are being true at all. Third, trust, but validate. Verify. Verify the source of the information. Verify where the information that has come to you, where it is coming from, whether it's a email, whether it's a SMS, text message, whether it's on social media via WhatsApp, Telegram, wherever the information is coming to you from. If it's a call, call back, right? Verify. And once you are completely satisfied that it is true, then proceed. But again, always be paranoid, right? Especially in today's world where there's a lot of anonymity and the fraudsters are taking advantage of the fact that they can't be seen by you. And I think Anna-Kaye mentioned this in her earlier presentation. Avoid sharing information like your date of birth, where you attended school, as well as names and photos of family members. So some of this applies, yes, to your online safety, your online presence, because sometimes most applications have a tab or a link for you to reset a password if you've forgotten your password. And most people are invited to put in an answer to a secret question. And a lot of that information, people could do some social engineering of you. They can look at your Facebook profile, your Instagram profile, the photos that you have there, all of the information that you give out online. They can actually use that information and run algorithms to figure out what that password of yours may be, or what that secret answer to the secret question may be. If we translate it into the physical world, people like to put up photos, and I have nothing against people putting up photos. I mean, you want to share your experiences with the world. It's a good way to communicate with friends and so on. But sometimes we put up photos on Facebook, on an Instagram, and it shows our family members. And the criminals get an idea of how many people are in your family. Sometimes you post these photos and you show that you are in some other part of the world. You are traveling, maybe to Disney World or Universal Studios or to the Caribbean. If some of you are not in the Caribbean and you intend to visit the Caribbean's wonderful beaches and so on in the near future, and you put up those photos, the criminals get to understand that you are not at home. So they know that it is vulnerable. It is a good time to attack. So as I said, I'm not against you putting up photos, but be very mindful of what you put up, right? If you put up your entire family, they know who you are married to, they know who you are associated with, they know who to attack in the event that they want to get to you, if they want to use voice cloning to claim that they have kidnapped someone, etc. Right? So be very mindful of what you put up on the internet, how you share it, because criminals are very resourceful people, right? And they will examine every aspect of your life to be able to create a profile of you so that they can use it to attack you either physically or in cyberspace. So let's all practice being cyber smart. Stay safe. First of all, don't give out your personal information to anyone, especially if you don't know the person. Don't meet up. We have had a couple instances in the past few years where persons have met people on Facebook, Instagram, cyberspace, some dating app, etc. And they have actually gone to meet the person. And when they've gone to meet the person, they have met their demise. Either they were robbed or killed. Something bad happened to them. So don't go meeting people who you're unsure about. Don't accept emails, especially if you didn't request the email. If it's an unsolicited email, don't click on links, don't open files, pictures, or text some people you don't know, because those things can cause problems. It can cause malicious software to go onto your computer systems. Check information, right? As I said, trust, but validate. Tell someone. For the younger persons on today, tell an adult if someone or something makes you feel worried or uncomfortable, because there are sexual predators online as well. So you need to be mindful of that. And if someone says something that makes you uncomfortable, tell an adult and let them take the responsible action. So just to go into some other quick tips. Remember that you will always be a target for fraud, but you do not have to be a victim. So some quick tips include: lock your devices using strong passwords. Use alphanumeric, meaning use numbers and letters of the alphabet. Use special characters, special symbols, and let them be at least 10 characters long. Use separate names, or usernames rather, and passwords for different accounts. I remember once doing an investigation where a gentleman had the same username and password for multiple accounts. So when the fraudsters were able to crack his username and password for one account, they were able to access everything. So use as many usernames and as many passwords as possible for all your various accounts, and use a password manager so that you're able to manage all the different usernames and passwords that you have for your multiple accounts. Avoid entering passwords on computers you don't control. You're not the owner of a computer. If a computer is at an internet cafe or library, you don't own it. They may have malware on it. They may have software on it that will steal your passwords. There is something called keylogin, which is either keylogin hardware or keylogin software, and it can steal your password. So you need to be very conscious and wary of that as well. Avoid entering passwords when using public Wi-Fi connections, like at the airports or coffee shops. Don't put in personal information when you are at these places, because hackers can intercept your passwords and data over these unsecured connections. Be sure that no one watches when you're entering your password. Avoid storing personal information on your devices, because fraudsters, again, in spite of all that I'm saying in terms of people practicing better cybersecurity and better cyber hygiene, if we don't practice proper cybersecurity and proper cyber hygiene, they can extract that information from our devices. Keep your device's operating system up to date. I myself have not always practiced this, but I'm learning to do so now. Sometimes you may get a prompt to update your software, and you don't, and then you make yourself vulnerable to any other attack that fraudsters or hackers have outside there. You should be mindful of that as well and ensure that it is a genuine update. Ensure that you have antivirus and anti-spyware on your computer systems. Download content only from trusted sources. Maybe Google Play if you want to install an app on your phone, or Apple or the Apple App Store. If you have reason to suspect an email that it is a phishing email, call the sender of the organization to verify the information that you have received using a known contact number. Right? Don't use the number that you would have seen in the email. Call a bona fide or a genuine contact number. Never forward the email to anyone, because you could be exposing that one or that person that you're sending the email to being defrauded. And trust your instincts. At the end of the day, you need to be able to trust your instincts. Don't click on any links. I mean, I can't stress on that. Don't click on any links, because phishing has gone up exponentially. If I remember, it has gone up at least 1,500% over the last 5 years only. Right? This is some information again from IBM threat report. Right, 1,500% increase in phishing attacks. Right. So, with that said, let me open up to questions, concerns, comments.
This is Dr. Robyn from the United States, and I just want to commend you for this very, very informative and excellent presentation. Both presentations today have been phenomenal. And I want to share, just add one more thing. One of the things that we're having a lot of issues with here in the US is fraud with some of the payment apps. Like we have Cash App, we have Zelle apps, and it's a big scam and fraud going on right now where you might get money into your Cash App and you're like, who's this from? I don't know this person. Then the person will text you or message you through Cash App saying, hey, I made a mistake. I didn't mean to send it to you. Can you send the money back? But what's happening is the person is stealing money. They have access to someone else's credit card. They're sending you money with that person's credit card, and you give it back to them, and they get to keep the money. And when the bank investigates, it looks like you have this fraudulent money in your account, which you do. So it's all kind of schemes and scams that are going on out here. This is a timely presentation on so many levels. So I just wanted to say thank you. I didn't have a question. I just had a comment. Thank you for this. Excellent.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, Dr. Robyn. Again, that was a fine example of what has been happening, right? So it's not only the online job channel, they are using the multiple channels that are available to them. So I'd like to say thank you to you all. Again, I really, really do appreciate the opportunity to be able to share this information with you all. I do hope that you are more vigilant in cyberspace. I tell people all the time, we are afraid of being victimized by a person. In the real world, we walk the streets and we practice all of our security awareness, but we drop our guards when we begin to type on the computer, when we begin to type on the phone, when we get into cyberspace. But it is just as dangerous.
Yes. Thank you so much, Sherwin and Dixian from the Bankers Association. I just want to say how very timely this is, and I think that every young person should hear this presentation, these two presentations today, every young person, because young people spend well, all their time, I can say, you know, their recreational time online now, as opposed to in my days when we would go outside and, you know, play hopscotch and, you know, those type of games, right? Their recreational time is mainly spent online, and they could be compromising themselves and their families by, you know, their practices. So I think this is so timely, and it's very relevant now. Right, so two wonderful presentations today. So I just want to thank Orbtronics and also the Bankers Association for their presentations today. And I just want to give a little example of something similar that happened to myself, where I noticed in my account, like there was 2 US coming out, right? It came through my email. And then I said, but this doesn't look, you know, like a company I pushed anything from. I mean, $2, okay, right? Then about a week or two after that, I noticed 4 US came out, $3.95. And I'm thinking, no, something is definitely wrong here. So what they do is they try to pull a little and pull a little and pull a little to see if you would notice, and then they would continue taking the money. Now you might think, okay, $2 US is not much money because that translates into probably 14 Trinidad dollars. And then they went up, you know, probably 20 to 30 Trinidad dollars. But every time it keeps adding up and it's adding up. And if they do it to me and they do it to 100 other persons and they take $2 US from everybody's account, then it's adding up. And eventually now that's how they're making their money. So I had to go to my bank and cancel my card. Cost me, you know, 150 TT. So it's the distress, you know, of it, you know, and everything. So it really does put you, you know, in a distressed situation, being on the end of these scams, you know. So that's why we really need to protect ourselves. And then sometimes we wonder, well, which, you know, system did I put my credit card in or my bank card in that created this, you know, because sometimes we don't even know, we think it's a trusted site and we put our information in and then we end up getting scammed. So really we need to be, you know, very vigilant. Just as we are, you know, in the physical world, we need to be in the cyber world as well. So I think that this is really applicable. So thank you again to Mr. Sherwin Forte and the Bankers Association, and also to Orbtronics for this timely and very relevant presentation today. So I would just like to close off. We've already gone a bit over, but I really, you know, it really was relevant that we get in these presentations. So I just want to thank all our partners from all over the globe and our gems, our precious gems who have stayed with us at this time to enjoy this presentation. I would also like to say that last week we introduced the financial freedom and entrepreneurship game. And we would like to do a session with the young ladies, hopefully this week, with it, where they can actually get to interact with the game and learn more about it. So we will be sending an email early this week on Monday to let you know when that session is going to be. So most likely maybe Wednesday evening. So we just have like an hour, it's an unofficial interactive time. You get to learn about finances and entrepreneurship and socialize with each other. Okay, so we'll see you guys next week, please the Lord, 24th of August, where we'll be doing public speaking in light of our community outreach sessions in November. So we'll be equipping you to be able to speak in public and to execute those sessions. So looking forward to that. We have some really exciting stuff coming up. So besides the public speaking session online on the 24th, we'll be having an in-person session for the girls in Trinidad on the 14th of September. Okay, so I'm really looking forward to that. And our partners and gems abroad can join in online until we can actually bring everyone, you know, to Trinidad. Hopefully, you know, later in the year, if God permits. So thank you everyone for joining, and do enjoy the rest of your afternoon and your weekend.
Thank you very much, Matt. Have a good day.
You're welcome.